I saw somebody talk about Sam Darnold like he should be in the MVP race this year. And then Baker Mayfield's like a premier quarterback in the NFL. Sean Payton versus Fangio. That's the most interesting matchup in this game. Joe Burrow, if he was healthy right now, I'd be feeling pretty smart about the Bengals winning the North, would I not?
If ifs and ands were pots and pans, the world would be a kitchen.
Is that... Speaking of kitchen, this is going to be a fun deal. Like if Drake Maye, if we're to believe he's a top 10 quarterback, you're going to be looking at Mike Vrabel and Drake Maye and McDermott and Josh Allen for a very long time in this division. Thursday Night Time Machine. Let's do it right now.
I've submitted.
I submitted hours ago. It felt like maybe days ago.
Chris.
I need this one. Chris is up 3-1.
Chris is up 3-1. 26-20 Rams. Macon. 24-13 Rams.
Ooh.
You're at 6. I'm at 11.
Yeah.
8.5. 8 and under, you win.
8 and under, I win. Line's 8.5. I see a backdoor cover here.
Ah, the name of our show is Steve.
Yeah, I guess. It should be
Sort
kitchen
of.
money.
If you look closely at the graphic.
My wife agrees it should be kitchen money.
I bet she does.
Backdoor cover?
Yeah.
That's the name of it?
Well, yeah.
Ooh.
Unofficially. I know, right?
Ooh.
Right?
What do you
Exactly.
mean?
So that could be kind of like an X-rated show, too.
Could be.
How so?
Backdoor cover.
You
How
talking
do you
about
mean?
The
people-
back door being covered.
What do you
the-
mean?
If the back door is covered, then you're not getting in there. How does that, what do you mean?
I don't know. Look, Nolan's laughing. Nolan knows.
All right. All right. Welcome to the Week 5 preview show. I am joined by my esteemed colleagues, Macon Gunter
Yurt?
and Dr. Fax, a.k.a. Nate Collins.
Bro, don't do that.
Wow. He did your yurt?
Yeah, like, don't do that.
So now you do his thing.
I don't know.
Careful.
Hello.
That's good. That's good. Nolan's on the other line too. Nolan's inside the computer. Yep. All right. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Or should I say bienvenidos? Bad Bunny.
Bad Bunny.
Bad Bunny. Halftime performing act.
Oh,
How
this
funny
year's
is
Super
it
Bowl.
that there's a mix-up online and people are raging out because they think it's Bad Baby.
I think it's Bad Baby.
The
Bad
Catch
Baby.
Me Outside
the Catch
girl.
Me Outside gal.
So, like, there's like...
Well, the people that get mad
There's like
about
political people being like, how could we have Bad Baby performing at the Super Bowl? And they're just totally wrong. And it's just like people are like retweeting it and going with it. Yeah, be like, yeah, this is so un-American. And I'm just like, this is so funny.
Bro,
like
this
in
is
so many ways.
This is hilarious to me that people are A, offended by the halftime show, or B, that people give a fuck enough about the halftime show. Like, I'm watching the game for the game. I couldn't tell you a single Bad Bunny song. I don't care. And also,
Bad Bunny's
like,
amazing.
if it makes some people upset, that's totally fine with me. It's a positive. It's self-selective. People that get upset about a halftime show,
I mean, Drake was mad last year. Kendrick performed, right?
I guess.
Someone's going to be
Somebody's
mad.
going to be mad every year. Anyway, so welcome to the show. Bienvenidos.
Do you know who performed at your 2 Super Bowls?
Lady Gaga performed at one of them. And I can't remember who.
Justin Timberlake
Timberlake.
in Minnesota
Yeah.
was doing Prince and stuff.
But ask most fans if they can remember anything but the nip slip or like Prince in the Super Bowl halftime show.
That was the nip
Hall
slip?
of Fame. No, that was like Carolina, New England.
Or...
I don't know why I remember that, but no, this was Timberlake all grown up. That my thing. Anyway, so far cry from the Super Bowl, the International Bowl. That's what starts our weekend.
Take 2 for the
international-
Vikes.
Yeah, international window. What kind of and so people know a little background here. You and I, opposite sides, giving out locks this week.
Yep.
I was a little rattled. You took my Houston pick. It's a great pick.
Thank you. Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure it's a good pick. We'll talk about it in a little bit.
Okay.
But I wanted to bet something Sunday morning. It's kind of like a way of getting revenge for what happened to me last Sunday morning. The under just seems too obvious. You know, like every time, I don't know if there's any trends this way, but like anytime.
Got one for you.
You do?
Yeah. Since 2012, totals below 36 are 16-5 to the under, 76%, with those games being south of the number by an average of 4.1 points. Now,
You know what's stuck in my head?
we're currently at 36.5.
I know.
be
So
clear.
so we need to be under 36?
36 or lower, yeah.
Okay. It just seems like a total to me where you're like you're begging people to take it because it's Dylan Gabriel and it's there's two ways of looking at it. You could look at it like it's so low, why wouldn't you take the over? Or like, how are these fucking guys going to score? I mean, these teams last week combined were 7 of 28 on third down.
Yeah.
Carson Wentz was sacked 6 times in the first leg of his Europe tour.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And you know, in medieval times, to be sacked meant to be violently looted and plundered after capture, with victims taking all valuables and often engaging in the R word, murder and destruction for a set period, such as 3 days and nights. The practice involved soldiers carrying away goods in sacks, hence the term, and could lead to the razing of a city or the enslavement of its people. It feels like Carson's going to get sacked again. That's what it feels like to me. He's going to get sacked a lot. Like this offensive line, dude, Carson took 6 last week. Brian O'Neill, DNP, probably not going to play. Kelly, DNP, probably not going to play. Jackson, DNP. Juergens, the backup center, DNP. They're almost out of dudes, and they're in England. Like they have to send dudes on an international flight. They shipped Cam Robinson to Cleveland this week, but honestly, it's probably the Vikings that need more help. I know that the Browns have a terrible offensive line, but the Vikings are trying to go somewhere. I don't know how you're going to block this group up front. You might have a center. You do have a center in Brandel who's going to play center. He's never played center in a game before. By the way, good luck with Malik Collins. He's been playing his ass off, but like School's going to have to block Myles Garrett.
Oh, School's back?
Yeah, School has never gone away, really. Like, he was gone for like a quarter.
I got hurt. Things improved.
Oh. So you get Darisaw back, and then the whole group gets hurt. So I think it's probably a rock fight of epic proportions, but the thing that makes me worry about taking the under or banking on it being a 16-10 ball game is turnovers.
It's too rickety.
It's too rickety. Like, it's like it's so far on the end of like.
I feel like this is the game the Browns defense, they start scoring on defense. I feel like if you're in that defensive room right now, you're like, hey guys, like if we want this season to turn around, we cannot rely on our offense. We cannot rely on our offense, so we have to take it a next step. We're playing lights out, we're playing great, but now we have to every tackle punching at the ball, trying to get forced fumbles, extra possessions, but even taking a step further, got to try to score on defense.
Yeah.
Like that's what it ends up being. Like Jacksonville, whatever year it was, 2012, and just had won 2 games that season. Mel Tucker's our D coordinator, and like I remember him just instilling it in us, like, hey, we're going to score on defense. Like we don't care what the offense is doing. We don't care if they're struggling. We don't care if they give the ball over. We have to think about trying to score and changing the game, changing the field anytime we get a chance to.
Dude, there is a universe where in 10 years people in England like the Browns are a big, are a big draw, because if they go out here and they show off this ferocious defense that features a lot of young players that, like if you're an international, fan of the NFL, like in a year the Browns could have a great quarterback or 2. They already have Shador.
Yep.
They could have 2 great quarterbacks. And then on top of that, like you've got Schlesinger, linebacker. You've got Judkins is getting carries.
They still got Njoku.
No, I'm talking about the young guys, all the young guys that are playing for him.
Harold Fannin as well.
Your D tackle Mason Graham. There's a young core on this team that I think is going to be pretty exciting to watch for a few years if they can figure the quarterback thing out. And speaking of quarterback, Dylan Gabriel's starting the game. No idea what to expect other than the one thing I guess you have going for you. And I don't know, we'll get to the circus, the media circus around the quarterback thing. I know why you would start Dylan Gabriel over Shador if it was close. For the very simple fact of Dylan Gabriel is going to get the ball out a little bit quicker. I think at this point in Shedur's career, the little bit we've seen of him, he's going to be a little bit more of a playmaker, a play extender, can pass from the pocket, but he's going to just take some time to play within structure, where Dylan got the ball out quick. And that's the only thing they can bank on. The only thing I worry about for him is, even if you give him very little, this is a defense that can make you throw into traps. I mean, in a big way. So that's what I worry about, is making that one back-breaking throw.
Game of the week, Denver 2-2 at Philadelphia 4-0. Opposing quarterbacks are completing 57% of their passes against the Eagles, though the Eagles have only 5 sacks on the season.
No, that part's wild. I think, like, when we get to the Eagles' defense, one of the things that's kept them afloat has been their red zone defense. Like, for sure, they're 15th in the league in, like, scoring defense. That could get ugly if they hadn't been so good in the red zone so far.
Yep.
But obviously they're playing well down there. I mean, they've made some big plays. Obviously, the benefactors of some big plays as well, where Kelsey drops the ball on the goal line, or Baker Mayfield throws the ball into Jahad Campbell's breadbasket there.
Good player.
Yeah, good player. Good player. And by the way, Nakobe Dean's coming back soon, so I'm interested to see how Vic Fangio kind of uses that group. Does he, he's been using Zach Bond to blitz a lot. Like, Bond's got a little pass rush in him. You just talked about the sacks? Like, I don't know, could he be an edge rusher? People are talking, okay? People are saying. Now, as we talk about the game as a whole, Sean Payton versus Fangio. That's the most interesting matchup in this game. Sean Payton knows Fangio well, and vice versa. He tried to hire him in 23, the year that Fangio's group beat Denver 70-20. The infamous Vance Joseph Bowl. Vance has done a great job since. They also faced off in the infamous COVID Bowl. Was that Kendall Hinton? His name just came to the top of my mind. I couldn't remember his name earlier. That was them. They've had 6 meetings. Peyton's offense has averaged about 25 points a game, almost 400 yards a game. But obviously he knows as well as anybody, like, to beat Vic Fangio, you have to sustain long drives and not make mistakes. And I think that's what he's going to be preaching this week. And for that reason, we talk about the red zone. It comes down to making them drive, and then, if you can, down the red zone, getting a stop, making them kick field goals, taking the ball off them. So when it comes to the Eagles offense, because that's the group that's been making all the news, that's the squeaky wheel, right? The answer for Todd Bowles in the second half was sim pressures. And I'm kind of wondering, does Vance come back to that? It's not something they do at a high clip, but maybe they do throw it in there. I think, honestly, this game comes down to one thing for the Eagles offense. Well, it comes down to a few things, but you've got 2 tackles who are great, right? In Lane and Jordan. Lane has been dinged the last couple weeks, couple different things, missing, different amounts of time in the last 2 games. When he's not in there, things change. Okay, so he's got to be in there. If he's healthy, that's a start. You've got these 2 awesome edge rushers, and you saw them the other night in the fucking backfield before guys are getting out of their stance. They're sacking the quarterback with 3 men rushing, okay? Those guys are shot out of a cannon. They won't be quite the same on the road. But the point I'm going to make is, if you can just take care of those 2 guys, I say just like it's easy, but when your tackles are that good, I actually do like the tackles in that matchup, especially Lane. Okay, if he's healthy and he's out there, those guys are used to being on islands. So you got to, hey, these are 2 of the best tackles in the league. They're all pro guys. They got to play like all pros. You got to leave them alone on these 2 great rushers. So they're going to have to handle these 2 werewolves outside. And then you've got guys like Zach Allen, John Franklin Myers inside. Those guys are the guys that probably become the benefactors in a game like this, because Landon's not healthy. We've seen the PFF grades, which we just talked about in the Steve show, but we've seen the pressures allowed. Cam Jurgens is not playing his best ball. Steen's been in and out of the lineup. He's not Mekhi Becton. So I guess what I'm saying is the guys inside have to sort it out, and the guys outside have to be them, right? Lane and Jordan have to be their best, and they have to take care of the guys one-on-one. The dudes inside have to give help when necessary to whoever's a squeaky wheel. I would probably slide to Zach Allen. You know, I'd probably center's going with Zach Allen in a pass situation if I have a choice. You know, as far as AJ is concerned, you're playing Pat Surtain, the guy that's got to win. And I know it's not easy coming off a week where we're saying, hey, AJ Brown, he needs the ball, and they do need to get him the ball. But the number 2 receiver has to win. He's going to draw Riley Moss. I think Riley Moss is a stud, but he's not Pat Surtain. And, you know, like, hey, it's strength on strength outside with Pat and A.J. Brown, for sure. You know, you think maybe A.J.'s strength would negate Pat's size or vice versa. I think it'll be easy, you know, interesting to see. You could go back and look at the Indy game where they weren't afraid to target, you know, guys like Pittman on Pat Surtain. Now, the way you're going to get these guys free is like mesh routes and crossers and in breakers. And, like, if you get man coverage, then you have to get in a position where you're stacking this dude horizontally and you've got leverage on him. You know, in that case, if the ball's well placed, you can go to AJ all day. But the thing I worry about is trying to force him the ball against a very good corner in spots that, you know, a stop route or, you know, a comeback is not going to be as effective against Pat. You know, it's just, I'm not saying AJ can't win that battle, but if you're going to be running like the most boring route tree in the world, then it makes it a little bit harder. So you got to get the ball to Saquon out of the backfield. You hit on his prop last week. Linebackers in Denver, you know, consistently have given up yardage in the pass game. So that's one place I'd look. And, you know, as far as running the ball is concerned, it might not be pretty. It might not be pretty running the football. So on the other side, these big SOBs up front, man, the backers have to come downhill, get the doubles off. You know, they found a little bit of momentum in the run game last week. It is Cincinnati, but I thought your guys look good on the ground. You know, they're probably looking at the tape of a couple of these explosives that uncharacteristically Vic's group has let up and saying, hey, how can we get to some of these explosives? Denver missed them against the Chargers. Maybe this week they can find a way to get the ball deep. But the thing about it is you love the matchup outside Quinyon and Cortland. You feel fine about that. Although I'm kind of curious how, like, Quinyon, and I'm not saying this like I'm not sure he can. I'm curious like how he matches up with a big-bodied guy like Cortland Sutton. I'm sure we can look back and say, well, he did it this week or that week. He's a physical corner, and Cortland's a big cat, dude. So that's going to be a fun one. And DeJean's probably going to be on your guy, Evan Ingram, who hasn't been targeted a lot this year. So that's an interesting one. Like last week, and I thought this was sacrilege, Baker Mayfield and Grizzard, however the fuck you say his name, respectfully. Grizzard. Well, he's going to be Grizzard if he does more shit like this, which is 18 times they targeted Cooper DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell. Like, that to me is just your ass backwards there. And I know there are mitigating factors and you know, possibly there's help over the top of Keely Ringo in different situations, and I'm not seeing it, but they only targeted Keely Ringo 3 times. And so Sean Payton's not going to make that same mistake. I think that to me is the interesting part of this football game. And the other thing is, guys are going to want to get their pass rush going. They want to pin their ears back. One of the ways you can negate a pass rush is sideline to sideline stuff. And they do a great job of stressing guys on the edge, whether it's jet sweeps, whether it's, you know, perimeter run game, whether it's the boot action off with an athletic quarterback. If it's crossers coming back late in the down for linebackers, you really do have to have good vision. Sean's a pro OC, and so is Fangio. Fangio's an absolute stud. This is going to be the matchup I can't wait to see. Is there a problem in Philly right now? Yeah, I do think there's a bit of a problem. I'm not saying it's like a structure fire, dude. Like, you remember last year they had this thing where BG said too much on like one of these Monday night shows about, I think, maybe like Jalen and AJ. And everybody was like, oh, fuck, why would he do that? It was so stupid. And on the surface, I was like, BG, what the fuck? What are you doing, dog? But then when I saw the way they played coming out of that thing, they kind of got together behind closed doors, had hard conversations, and went on their merry way, and they fucking won the Super Bowl. So, like, there's nothing that's going on in the building that can't be fixed. But if you're asking me, is there tension in the building? Yes. The passing game is like it's Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Well, and maybe limiting the run game too.
And some of it's the run game.
Last year in second halves, Saquon was averaging 6.7 yards a carry. This year it's 2.7 yards a carry.
And I talked about that Monday. It was like, man, like a lot of people are looking at this offensive line and saying, you know, you get so used to having that privilege as an Eagles fan of being like, hey, we said this about Minnesota. Oh, easiest place to play quarterback. Well, Philly's not too far down the list, right? And a lot of it was this run game. But this year, for a number of reasons, this offensive line is not the same. I don't look at this offensive line as being a strength of the team anymore. The tackles are a strength, but the offensive line to a man is not the group from last year. It's not the group from 23, and it's not the group from 17 when we went. And so if they gotta find a way to work around this thing without getting too discouraged, because you know it goes to show like how much last year Saquon Barkley was the best running back I'd damn near ever seen. Okay, how is the best running back I'd damn near ever seen like the 40th best running back this year? It's team football, dude. Everything, and we always try to boil things down to it's this player, it's that player, it's that player. It's a combination of factors. And, and Philly wants to pinpoint one thing. I think it's a little bit, everybody's sharing in this thing. The OC, a lot of it. The quarterback, definitely some of it. In the second half last week, he did not play well. A.J. Brown, sure, fuck, dude, stop tweeting. Everybody shared the offensive line. So, is there a problem? There's probably a little bit of tension in the building, but that doesn't mean they can't fix it. We live in this world of absolutes where we're like, there's no problem. There's a huge problem. Well, there's problems in NFL buildings every week, and, sometimes they don't get out, and people overcome them. Teams overcome them. So the one thing they can't overcome, though, is if the scheme sucks and the offensive line can't get the run game going in any capacity. That's going to be hard to overcome if that's the case. For the quarterback.
Nice to be able to sort out your problems being undefeated against one of the toughest schedules to date.
Yeah, dude, 4-0. So you can't complain. I mean, you can complain. There's been no shortage of complaints, but that's a pretty good cushion for you to figure things out, right? And this week is a big one. I think this is their toughest test. I think the offense, this is by far their toughest test. Going to Kansas City was impressive. You gotta account for Chris Jones. You gotta account for the pressures, the blitzes. Dallas is a walk in the park. Dallas made the offense look pretty good for much of the game. Then last week you had Tampa, who's a tough test, but I think their pass rush could be a lot better. The Rams, that's a really tough test up front, but then you had the same test up front with a back seven that's elite. You know what I'm saying? There's no Witherspoons out. We're gonna find ourselves down 3 scores. If they find themselves down 3 scores in this game or 2 scores in this game, they're not coming back. So you got to play this game in phase. You got to be careful against this group. Get
this one because you got Jackson Dart coming up on Thursday.
Best quarterback ever, I hear.
Potentially.
Yep.
Did you see the Sean Payton and Vic Fangio were trying to butter each other up in the media days a little bit? Vic Fangio on Bo Nix. He's a lot like Baker Mayfield. I think he may be Baker's younger brother. Very good. They got their QB of the future. And then Sean Payton on the tush push. I was the one that stood up in favor of it. When all of a sudden health and safety was pulled into that, which might be the safest play in football.
I saw that quote.
My bullshit nose kind of went up.
I saw that quote. I do actually. I'm glad Sean Payton's saying that because he's not being a little bitch about it. As far as what Fangio said, do you feel like you have the quarterback of the future?
I'm all in on Bo Nix.
I think you got to be. I think you got to be
mid.
And watch the Bengals game.
I think he's got a lot of work to do to improve, but I do think you have a starting quarterback. I think you have a franchise quarterback. What he does developmentally is going to be up to him, and it's going to be up to the Broncos. But I don't know. Sean Payton's liked him from the jump, and you know what to me stands out. A good barometer is how teammates talk about a guy. His teammates fucking love him.
It's literally all positive. Every single thing has been positive.
Love him. So I'm not saying he's elite or anything like that or has a chance to be.
He's a second-year player. Like he's
Yeah.
he's
They're
getting
gonna be like, hold on a minute, he
Experiencing-
does have a chance to be elite.
Normal regression. So don't you worry one bit,
Yeah,
Cowbs.
yeah.
Jackson fart.
On to the 1 p.m.s.
That's another thing. The Eagles are 11-11 in the red zone this season. That's crazy.
Out here scoring.
That's crazy. So that's got to flip for Denver. They got to make a stop, and they got to get in the end zone because that's what the Eagles have been really good. You talk about situational football. You want to know why this team's 4-0 with all this crazy shit? They block kicks. They block punts. They've fucking been dynamite in the red zone. And they've got two great cover guys in the secondary and a stud all-world, linebacker who kind of runs the show. Like, that's enough, But you can't take halves completely off offensively. Down the stretch, that's going to hurt you.
Big game for the Whites.
Aren't they all?
got the great Whites.
Oh yeah, we do have Riley Moss.
Riley Moss and Cooper DeJean.
We do have Riley Moss and Cooper DeJean out there.
For young white football players that are dreaming to play cornerback, like
You think they take a picture after the game?
Absolutely.
they got to
probably
do
gonna
they
trade
got to do
jerseys.
the jersey swap.
They
Yeah.
got to do a
Like,
jersey swap.
Couple Iowa
If they don't,
Yeah.
yeah, they got to do the
And then
jersey
Reed
swap.
Blankenship in the background. Like,
It's gonna be the meme. He's gonna be Squidward looking out his house window at SpongeBob. And
bro, who did I see a couple weeks ago in a primetime game? Somebody put in a white cornerback I'd never heard of. It was maybe Miami or something.
oh,
Oh yeah.
This is a couple weeks ago. I had the
Bonner.
over. Huh?
Ethan
Bonner.
Bonner.
Ethan Bonner.
Yeah, how's he?
He ain't Cooper DeJean or Riley Moss.
But he's out there, bro. Honestly, like, even if you get to the league and you don't go off and you're a white cornerback, like, bro, like, you made it.
hell yeah.
Like, you
Stanford.
honestly, dude, like, you there should be a Hall of Fame. And it's just like Jason Sehorn and Ethan Bonner and like fucking Riley Moss, and I can't even name too many more,
And
I think he got them all.
a white will not be starting for the Browns this week. Dylan Gabriel is Pacific Islander.
Really?
Yes.
That's interesting.
So we all know that I'm a little Denver Bronco homer. Nolan has his Eagles hat on all the time. We want to throw it up to you. We want to have a little bet between us. Whoever wins, loser punishment. So
I know how that. You see how that works.
If you all remember, a couple years ago, Taylor and myself had a little bet when the Broncos and the Jaguars played. Taylor lost. He had to go on a date with a very fine young.
Oh, fuck doll.
Yep. Yeah, a little fuck doll.
Goodness there.
What maybe we don't do that for us, but
Maybe we do though.
maybe we do. The doll's still around.
Why is the doll still around?
Like the doll, like
You know where
Is
the
it
doll
really
is?
throw it
still
away.
inflated?
I,
No,
for
it's
one,
not.
do not know where the doll is. Do you know where the doll is?
maybe it's around here somewhere.
Huh.
That's so interesting.
He knows
Yeah.
exactly where it is.
It's in the building here.
Yeah, maybe.
So sometimes when I call you at like 1 a.m, I'm like, "Where you at?" You're like, "I'm still at the office." Like, it's not always work.
Yeah, it might not always be work,
Bro, if I walked in here and see you fucking a plastic blow up doll, like I probably would
The
just
point
turn-
is,
I probably would
what
just
I
turn
brought
around
this
and
up
leave.
for.
No, you would
Give
call
us
HR.
ideas.
Who?
What are ideas?
HR.
Something for the Monday live show.
Yeah,
Monday.
Oh, something for the Monday live show. Okay.
I'd rather not shave my head.
If
But-
the Eagles, I got it. You got to do the Monday live show in like professional face paint of the other team, or like
Okay.
like
Pretty good.
like
Yeah.
I wish there was a cat team involved so we get like a grown man in whiskers, which I love seeing in the stands. Like that's one of my favorite things. But I don't know. I guess like a bird beak for you, right?
Okay.
Like bird beak, that sort of thing.
Or
And
we
for-
could just go the whiskers route. I mean, we could make a cat out of the loser.
I don't get that.
Well, it is easily the funniest face paint on a grown man.
No, it's not. You just hire someone to do a full clown. The white, the red nose. Like
That's pretty good. That'd be
makeup.
good. That'd be good. That'd
Hey,
be good.
And these people are.
How about you gotta
readily-
fuck the doll on a live stream? to completion.
Just sickos.
You can't be like, all right, I'm done.
Oh man, have you guys asked Taylor about this? You just gonna offer up his girl? That's
What?
it.
But then
that's his property.
We put the thumbnail of the video, be like Eagles Broncos breakdown. You click on that motherfucker. Reed's like back in the closet again with my doll. No, I really don't know what we should do, bro.
Well, I know the local authority on face painting. Having 3 young children.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not doing much on Monday afternoons.
That's perfect.
We can have them through.
You do know somebody who face paints.
Yeah. It's the same guy who does them all.
Is that embarrassing enough?
The balloons and everything. Well, then the loser could also like bring out the doll, be like, could you paint her face too? Like you could.
Oh, I got it. Loser has to cook Macon dinner in his kitchen.
Well, you need is an air fryer, man.
Grubhub.
It'll be good.
Anyways, we'll think of something. Welcome to the Green Light Podcast presented by BetMGM. If you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, use bonus code GREENLIGHT and you will get up to a $1,500 first bet offer on your first wager with BetMGM. Just download the BetMGM app and sign up using bonus code GREENLIGHT. Deposit at least $10 and place your first wager on any game. If that bet loses, you will receive up to $1,500 in bonus bets when using bonus code GREENLIGHT at sign up. Then get access to second chance promos, odds boost tokens, same game parlays, BetMGM original bets, and so much more. BetMGM, make it legendary.
The 1 p.m. slate, Texans, Ravens, Raiders, Colts, Cowboys, Jets, Giants, Saints, Dolphins, Panthers. Going around the room. Start with Nate Collins. What is the game you are most looking forward to watching?
Ooh, I think just for chaos, the Texans-Ravens, because more so if the Ravens lose this game, the uproar of 1-4 teams and the percentages of them not making the postseason and not making the playoffs and all that will go on. But I'm more excited, like if they do lose, the potential that they still could possibly make the playoffs if they get Lamar back and they start running the tables. It's just early. So I just think the reaction to if they did lose this week, which I think is a big possibility, that's why I picked that game.
Well, it was damn near the fourth quarter, and it was 6-0 last week for Houston.
I know.
I know that O-line's been in trouble, but they have playoff aspirations as well and are 1-3. Combined 2-6 for these teams.
Well, this is a big spot. I mean, as Nate put it, I'd probably rank this as the best of the rest in the 1 p.m. slate. Like the desperation. Like I think desperation in the NFL is a lot of fun. It's not fun to be a part of a group where
I hear you.
There's that when you're watching two teams that are desperate. Like it is early in the season to feel this way, like it's a must win, but it's probably a must win for both teams. Now, not to talk out of both sides of my mouth, I do think the way that the South has gotten started with the Jags and the Colts playing really well.
Oh,
it's a little bit more of a must win if that makes sense for Houston.
Absolutely does.
For Baltimore, I think there's a chance that they start 1-5. Like they could lose this weekend. I think they do lose this weekend.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm saying that knowing full well that the Ravens have owned this team in Houston over the last couple of years. Every time they played, it's just been like, hey, the Ravens are a class above.
Yep.
And it felt like every time they played, it's like, oh, there's this measuring stick and we're not there yet. Especially last year where it just felt like Derrick Henry and that whole group just speed bumped them on Christmas. So they're going to be angry and the whole thing. And I think, Baltimore's going to get their best shot. But this is the reason that I think the Ravens can actually still make the playoffs. I'm not saying this team looks like a Super Bowl team. First off, they'd have to show me that they play in January.
Yeah.
And I know there's been some debate raging this week about, I heard somebody say we have to have a conversation about Lamar. Well, I don't know about I don't know what conversation we like. Is it Lamar or is it everything else?
Yeah.
When it comes playoff time, Lamar's included in that critique to me. But this is a roster that is. I mean, we're nearing the. Remember a couple years ago we tried to put out merch the injury report looked so long it looked like a concert, like a band world tour. And so, we're getting there with this Ravens team again. They could start 1-5 if they lose this week and they got the Rams next week. Even if they start 1-5, I think they still have a path, which is wild because you look at the next 6, they play these quarterbacks. Caleb Williams, who's rounding into a good quarterback in the NFL. The Finns with Tua, no Tyreek, the defense the way it is, the dysfunction. We'll see if they can get it right. Vikings, Wentz or McCarthy, the Browns, Gabriel or Sanders, the Jets, Justin Fields, the Bengals, Browning. That is their schedule pre-December. And then they got 5 division games remaining, including 2 against Pittsburgh, who holds the lead. So, if I'm John Harbaugh, that's going to be my message to these guys, not to prepare for the bottom falling out, but when the bottom does fall out, he's going to be able to deliver that message with confidence, because if they get Lamar back and they get some guys back on offense, Ricard, Likely's more, into the offense because it was, he started the year hurt. The guys on defense, just a few of them come back, they can beat those teams. I don't think they're going to be playing in February like that. I didn't think that anyways, and the way that they played so far this year tells me that. So, for the Texans, it is swarm to number 22. Like, you're telling me that defense, if I'm that defense, there is one thing I have to take care of this week, because Cooper Rush is a good quarterback. He's a good backup quarterback, but this offense was not built for him. This offense is built for Lamar Jackson. And so everything that they expect Lamar Jackson to do on a regular basis, now they're going to have to adjust to. And I don't know if Todd Monken's had to play an unathletic quarterback before in Baltimore. I don't know if he's.
I can answer that.
You can.
Maybe not specifically for Todd Monken, but you got to go back to Joe Flacco before you find a
unathletic
quarterback move around.
Yeah, in Baltimore.
Yeah,
that's right, because they had Snoop and everything, and I don't know if has Monken had to coach a backup quarterback yet in Baltimore. I can't remember if Lamar has been down over the last 2 years.
Feels like there was some Snoop Huntley in there.
It feels that way. Maybe 2 years ago, they're going to have to run the ball. That's going to be it. And Dan Orlovsky pointed out this week that the Ravens run on first and second down like at a lower percentage than anybody else in the NFL.
Over 32, yeah.
Boy, that is fucking insane. That feels like sabotage, and it's not. But that's what they've been doing. So this week it's going to be swarm to the football. This defensive line has not been great stopping the run, but I would assume that they're going to say, hey, fuck, Cooper Rush has to beat us. Like, we are just going to load the box. We're going to be hunting number 22. That is a violent defense. So the X is on 22. As for the offense, you mentioned it. They got off to a slow start against Tennessee, but the one thing I liked the whole game was C.J. Stroud getting the ball out of his hands. Like, and I hit up Nolan right before this, and I said, hey, give me C.J. Stroud's time to throw each week. This was his lowest time to throw, 2.5 seconds. Like, if they can be there, he took the underneath a lot. You also have to realize they just got Christian Kirk back, and the namesake of my fantasy football team, Woody Marks. Who I left on the fucking bench last week. He was just like he was the mascot. He looked like a revelation for them. I mean, you kind of wonder what took him so long. Good in the run and the pass, can get the ball in the perimeter. He'll bounce anything. And to have that, when you've got 2 rookie wide receivers, you got Nico Collins, who's been up and down so far this year, and the offensive line has been killing you, right? To have a back that you can dump the ball to, which you haven't really had this year, is a big difference. So I think he will make things different for them. I predict Stroud will have time. He has to play like he has time, because I'm seeing him do this a lot now. And I don't blame him because of the way things have been the last year and a half. But there are times when I'm like, dude, you can wait a tick longer. And like last week, I think he had Schultz down near the goal line and in man coverage, and Schultz stacked it was a safety. And at that point, he just kind of short-armed it and rushed the ball out. I don't know that he makes the play, but the pocket was clean. He's been conditioned to play faster than he should.
Yeah.
And so when he's got the good protection, he's got to take his time. That's going to be the key this week because I do think he's going to have some clean pockets more than he's had in a little bit.
If you're a professional gambler and you think the Baltimore Ravens are going to win the division, BetMGM does. They're minus 145 favorites to win the division. Do you press your luck and wait 2 weeks to try to get a 1-5 team at a better price? Steelers second right now at plus 175.
I would wait. I would wait until they're 1-5, honestly, and then just have a lot of fun because at that point they'll be what?
Maybe plus money, and then you're looking at week 14 and 18 against the Steelers.
Yeah,
I mean, that's probably
what it comes down to.
9-7 teams, 10-6 teams.
Well, Steelers would have something to say about that, but I see where you're coming from.
Yeah.
It's the reason I'm talking about the next 6 weeks is, after the Rams game, they have a doable stretch. So
the craziest thing about the Ravens is they're potentially 3 fumbles away from being 3-1.
Yeah,
versus 1-3.
Yep.
And it's not going to get any easier for Derrick Henry because everyone's seeing this on tape, and you have a defense that really runs downhill. With that being said, do you think he fumbles? Would you? I wonder what the line on that would be.
Him fumbling?
Yeah.
I think he's got it figured out like Tiki Barber in 1996.
It took Tiki a while. It
High
took
and
a lot of fumbles.
It did.
Dude, he and Stevenson. The first carry I saw Stevenson take the other day, he buried himself behind like 3 offensive linemen and kind of like just burrowed the ball into their lower backs, dude. It was crazy. I was like, he's definitely those 2 guys are thinking about it every time they touch the ball, so they're going to be hunting the ball.
Texans allowing fewer than 13 points per game, 1-3. First team since 1974 to have a losing record while allowing fewer than 13 points through 4 games. I want to propose, and you might want to speed through it because you might not like it, I think Giants at Saints is highly friggin' watchable.
I think it's watchable.
Spencer Rattler's 0-10 as a starter, and he's the favorite in New Orleans.
Something going on there.
Against Jackson Dart, who could become 2-0 in his young career. And try this theory on. Take the number 1 out of the picture in Leaky Neighbors, which is very unfortunate, and I know he'd rather have his top receiver. But maybe you don't feel that pressure to get somebody touches, and I'm not saying Malik Neighbors is that kind of receiver, that kind of diva receiver, but you go through your progression and you see Wan'Dale Robinson and Darius Slayton and the couple of tight ends. A bit of a what Bill Simmons would call the Ewing theory with Leaky Neighbors out. I think the Giants are a live dog.
Right.
+2 in New Orleans against the winless.
This is what's crazy to me, like just with betting in Vegas, is just like how? Like how? The Saints, they've trailed at halftime of every game, and they haven't ran a play
with the lead.
This entire
I know. Well, this is how Vegas works. That's why I gave out the Saints.
Trick
and
dick.
It felt really icky because this is one of those lines this week where I'm like, okay, everybody saw Jackson Dart upset Justin Herbert last week.
Yeah.
When we know, if you watch the game, Herbert got pressure on like 60% of his fucking snaps, and he was running for his life behind that offensive line. And Jackson Dart did some good things, but what they did is they ran the fuck out of the football. They just stuck with it, and he made plays with his legs. And, I didn't see anything in that first Jackson Dart start that tells me he's not going to be a good player. Mm-hmm. In fact, if I had to bet on it, I think he's a starting quarterback in the NFL. Mm-hmm. But I didn't see anything in the game either that makes me think like he's already arrived.
Yeah.
The arrival is predicated on beating the Chargers, which they did as a team.
Yeah.
And that defensive line wreaked havoc.
Oh, and I feel like a lot of his upcoming wins, if he gets a few more, are going to be team wins. It's not going to just be, Jackson Dart went out there, and maybe he does, went out there and threw for 350, 4 touchdowns. I think he has a defense that if you're getting close to 20 pressures a game, or not a game, in a game, like your defense is going to put you in great spots, great field position.
Sudden change, good field position.
Sacks, turnovers,
yeah.
all that is going to be great for you. More possessions, more time with the ball, because you're going to need that. He's going to have growing pains. Got one win, but I just think that with the way the Giants defense is playing right now, I think that's going to help him out.
And they're probably going to be not a Ewing theory, but they're going to be less ambitious without Malik Neighbors. Malik Neighbors would help him for sure, but you're going to be less ambitious. You're going to try to play within yourself. So I actually think this is a New Orleans spot. I can't fully explain why, but that's a team that just went up to Buffalo and they almost had the lead. Like Steve talked about in the preview show, they did for a minute and the call came back. I think if Spencer Rattler were Jackson Dart, if we viewed Spencer Rattler as a high draft pick, as maybe you'd say, oh, he's got some potential. Like I've seen him play. I mean, he's fine. It really comes down to this for me as Jackson Dart within the friendly confines of MetLife Stadium on a sleepy Sunday afternoon. We'll go down to New Orleans and play. I know this team is 0-4, but that's a tough place to play. It really is. And so this is going to be a bigger test for him in a lot of ways.
Alvin Kamara, you think a big game for him maybe?
Kamara, I would hope so.
I know.
I would hope so.
Dart became the 6th quarterback since the merger to defeat a team that was 3-0 straight up or better in his first career start.
Who are the others? Yeah, this is always my favorite part.
Phil Simms, 1979. Frank Reich, 1989. Brett Favre, 1992. Jeff Garcia, 1999. Mark Bulger, 2002. Now Jackson Dart in 2025.
Well, they were all pro quarterbacks.
Simms then won 3 in a row. Reich won 3 in a row. Bulger won 6 in a row after that.
Yeah.
And Jaden Daniels, I'm not saying Jackson Dart is Jaden Daniels, but Jaden Daniels' first career start against Tampa week 1 last year looked fairly similar to Jackson Dart's of last week.
That's right.
But then Daniels took off like a rocket ship. Dart will have to do that himself.
So can I propose a third best game?
Please.
Yeah, and this for me, because I had Giants in New Orleans as fun as it will be. I had it 4 in the et cetera category of 1 p.m.s.
Are you going to go with the game featuring a professional football team?
The Indianapolis Colts and the Vegas Raiders. Not only is that highly watchable due to the uniforms.
Yes.
But you get to watch Max Crosby. Max Crosby last week was, somebody said on X.com this week that Max Crosby is approaching the conversation for best defensive end. I'm like, well, he's been in that conversation for years now, in my opinion. But unfortunately for him, Myles Garrett exists. And Myles Garrett is the Megatron of defensive ends. I would put Max at this point in his career, now that I'm seeing him, kind of like the only worry I had coming off of last year was he played on a high ankle, which takes a lot of toughness and it takes something out of you. And I wondered if he looked the same early in the season. As far as the sacks were concerned, a little bit of a slow start, but he affects the game in every facet.
Every facet.
Yep. The way he's able to make instinct plays, that is something that you just can't teach. You can teach pass rush. You can hone your skills. You can do karate with Jay Glazer. You can fucking, run the hoop. You can all that shit. But what you can't do is when he knifes in the backfield and knocks down a jet sweep, I don't see anybody else make that play.
Yeah.
Or the huge wingspan to affect the football. It's kind of like they're not the same type of, well, I don't want to say the same type of player, different players, but like he's a more defensive end version of J.J. Watt. The way J.J. Watt affected the game in every way, and he made plays based on instinct, athleticism. He would jump from gap to gap. It's almost like we always used to watch film of J.J. Watt and be like, oh, he doesn't have any rules, does he? Like we used to say, like, they let J.J. do what
he wants.
Do whatever the fuck you want. There's the defense, and then there's one guy, and everybody plays off him.
Yep.
And I think Crosby's the same type of guy where it's like he can wreck a game plan, and it ain't just sacking the quarterback. I mean, he lives in the backfield, and he lived in the backfield last week. It was crazy. If it weren't for Max Crosby, they might have got run out of the building early. I think it also says something about them that they forced 4 turnovers, and the Bears, I think it says something about the Bears as well, that they forced 4 turnovers and needed all of them and then the block kick
exactly
to win the game. But if you're looking at positives for the Raiders, I felt like the offensive line got better last week. Now they lost Colton Miller, which is a big deal. That's your best offensive lineman. So now the best offensive lineman is JPJ, is Powers Johnson, who for some reason switched positions to guard. And, there's this big thing in Raider Nation where they're all, hey, well, Pete Carroll's been stubborn about JPJ and that sort of thing. And then they had to play Kappa while he was hurt, and Kappa was a disaster. The minute he got back in the lineup, the run game got better. And I thought last week they took a step in the right direction. And I thought Genty, Genty to me looks like a stud. He looks like a stud.
But running behind Colton Miller.
Behind the opposite of, running behind Colton Miller and others. But I'm looking at this offensive line, and I'm like, damn, if he can just hang in there and they can improve this group over the next couple years, he's going to be one of the best running backs in the league.
Yo, because he's special. Like, bro, to score 3 touchdowns in the NFL, and then that stat, like, I can't even remember it, the being hit behind the line of scrimmage, like that whole
thing.
Dude,
it didn't make any sense. He had like 200 yards, and they were like, he has 201 yards after contact.
It still doesn't make sense to me. It's still like it makes sense, but it still doesn't make sense when you hear it spoken. And to see the production that he can get and how good he can potentially be and the type of numbers he can put up if that O-line, if they find a way to fill those holes just a little bit, it's everyone's going to see why like he was heralded like as he was, because all of his stats too that like we see from college, people have to like realize that he played like a half a game most of his college games.
Right.
Like they took him out.
Right.
So the potential stats that he could have had would have been absolutely crazy if he stayed healthy.
Well, imagine if he was running behind like a Detroit offensive line. Not taking anything away from those backs, they're fucking great.
Oh yeah.
But he's a difference maker back there. And in the immediacy, their run game can help Geno. They have looked totally out of sorts, and it kind of starts with the offensive line, but then Geno's meeting him halfway on the thing because he's throwing pick after. He threw 2 of the same picks last week.
Bro,
the same pick to the same guy. Okay, and here's the concerning thing for me, and I'm not a big like, hey, body language. I am a body language guy, but I'm not going to extrapolate something, too often off of body language. But what I saw was like after all of his picks last week, if you watch the TV copy, it kind of looked to me like everybody was consoling him. Nobody's done with Geno. Like nobody on that team's like, hey, get Geno out of here. But it kind of feels like they're all – the body language to me looks like Geno's shell-shocked. His confidence is affected, and everybody in the building knows it.
Yeah.
The way they were trying to big him up after those missed throws. And to be honest, he's looked off all season. So
where's Tom?
What do you mean? Where's Tom Brady?
Yeah, he's freaking doing videos with I Show Speed.
Yeah,
like,
I know.
Go talk to Geno.
Can I Show Speed play tackle? So they got to get him going. This might be a good week to do it. Like until you realize that Latu came on last week. You got the 2 studs inside. Now I love Latu, dude. I've loved him since he came out, and just wait, he's going to be a very good rusher in this league. And last week I think he had almost 10 pressures. And I think his pass rush win rate was like 30%. So, the Raiders are going to have to run the football. They're going to have to keep Geno clean. And on the other end of things, like teams blitzed Daniel Jones early in the season, and they found out that, oh, shit, he's not the old Daniel Jones. He's got Shane Steichen. He's got these weapons. They can beat man coverage. You maybe don't want to blitz this group. I think you can get him if you can rush 4. And the good thing is for the Raiders, they are built to stop the run. So if they can make this a one-dimensional thing, there is a universe where this is a game. Now, here's the troubling part. Xavier Howard has been Waldo so far this season. This week, he impromptu retired, which is a wild thing to do in the middle of the season, especially like out of the blue. And good news for the Rams, you have 2 young players that have retired 2 players at this point, like over the last calendar year, because we heard Teron Armstead say, Jared Verse retired me. Now Puka Nacua has retired Xavier Howard. It made me wonder if something ugly after the game happened. or if he was going to get cut for some reason, or I don't know what.
Or you just feel like
Or
you
he said,
lost a
"Fuck it."
step, and you're just like, hey, I can't do this shit.
Which is just like, it's so incomprehensible to me, but everybody's wired different. You know, like once you commit to something, you know.
But like you said, if it's a guy, if you're struggling like with your confidence and like, hey, like,
that's a tough position.
Like, hey, exactly. Do I still have it? And like you said, that's a position where there's no hiding it. There's no hiding. Like, hey, I can kind of tiptoe through this, and no one's gonna notice that I've lost a step. Not there.
Noel, who do you think steps in for him? I'm kind of wondering who plays the slot.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be probably a game time decision because Kenny Moore seems to be dinged right now too. So they added Mekhi Blackman from Minnesota via trade, I think either late August or early September. So he'll play outside opposite Ward, but the nickel spot, if Kenny Moore can't go, maybe Jonathan Edwards. But we're going to kind of see. Hopefully Moore can go.
Yeah, I would hope. I mean, I would hope so. So, anyways, that's number 2 for me. I would say number 3 game is probably Dallas and New York, or however you want to put it, because I think there could be points. Right, that's what everybody's banking on.
When his opponent scores more than 20 points, Justin Fields' teams are 0-25.
So you might like the Cowboys in this spot. I thought initially that line felt a little fishy, but the Jets are hosting the Cowboys, who haven't been able to stop anything. And
this has got to be the biggest come down after a tie in NFL history.
Yeah, so it's trap game.
Yeah.
Total trap game. We just tied the Packers at home in the Micah Bowl. So, the defense I think the disappointing thing about the Jets so far this year is that the defense hasn't been better, because we said preseason, like, there's a lot of good pieces there. Aaron Glenn, the cupboard's not bare. They just have to win a damn game. They got close week 1. They'd like to think they can make this a shootout as well. And I do think they can, because the Cowboys defense has been pretty hapless, but 70% of bettors are on the under in this game, which is kind of crazy to me. So maybe it goes over.
And that total is 47.5.
Yeah. And then the last one is Miami and Carolina.
Whew.
Miami and Carolina, man.
I seen this funny
God
meme.
bless everybody playing in this football game.
I see this funny meme, and it's like, it's The Office, and it's Stanley and the other black guy that's in the office, and they have Miami Dolphins and then the Baltimore Ravens, and the Dolphins are like, "What's up? 1-3."
Oh, this is pretty fucking funny, dude. I know the one.
And Baltimore's like, but
yeah. Have you seen this one?
I haven't, but
You remember the scene?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Stanley, like, when the other black guy's like, "Hey, like, what's up?"
Yeah, and he
Stanley's
was like,
Yeah.
yeah, that was pretty good. I saw that one too. I was
so
afraid to
funny.
retweet it,
Understandable.
Yeah, you just that's a stay away
Oh,
from me,
man.
but I did chuckle. But here's the one thing, and I sent this tweet to Nolan earlier because I was like, I don't know if I'm just on an island on this thing. This is from Dov Kleiman, so take it with a grain of salt. Yikes. An NFL scout says that Panthers QB Bryce Young has been, quote, awful during the team's 1-3 start. He's looked uncomfortable in the pocket, struggled to see the field, lacked anticipation, and failed to be consistently accurate. I don't think he's the guy, another evaluator said. It might be time to give up on Bryce Young. Go for it. Let's see how the team plays without him. I tend to think this guy's got a future in the NFL. I'm just going off of what I see. And that almost rings like somebody trying to trade for Bryce Young, dude.
Totally.
You know what I'm saying? Like, put that out there. David Tepper's a moron, right? Like, he's going to read Dov Kleiman.
It was a Bengals scout.
Yeah, like, right? Seriously, and he's going to end up, if he's not in Carolina.
But isn't that better for him? Like,
This is the year that they decide on his option. Okay, so, like, how he plays now is important.
Yeah.
The question that Noel and I were having this conversation, it was like, well, what are they going to do about it? Well, the people that are there right now might not even be there to make that decision, and they might not have the power to make a decision either way right now, unless Tepper was like, hey, he's not our guy.
Yeah.
I'm going to make you guys trade him before the deadline or that sort of thing. I would love to see him, if that is a reality and the Panthers feel the way that this scout feels, although I feel differently, He's throwing to Xavier Legette and a guy who's looks like a camp counselor who wasn't even playing football last year. On top of it, Bryce Tremaine ran a 4.6 40, and he starts. Bryson Tremaine runs a 4.6, as Nolan pointed out, and starts at wide receiver for the Panthers. Like, the offensive line has not been awesome. I would love to see him, if they're going to ship him out of town at some point. I'd love to see him in McVay's West Coast Rehabilitation Center. We've seen different guys pop up in LA, and then Baker Mayfield for one. That'd be a lot of fun. Cincinnati is in the market for a quarterback right now, but Bryce seems like more of a permanent solution, a guy you're grooming to be the heir apparent to say Matt Stafford. If he hangs it up at the end of the season, this team's a 10-plus win team. You're not going to have the draft capital necessarily to get the guy that you want to get. Maybe he's like a developmental piece for them. But for a Bengals team that's going to get Joe Burrow back in December or next year, you don't make a move for a guy that has a future. You make a move for a guy like Russell Wilson. But I think Bryce can play. I really do.
What's the state of the Dolphins locker room after a win on Monday night, but no Tyreek Hill? The prospects do not look terribly good, and it seems to be a coin flip of a game against the Carolina Panthers.
We hype. It's Waller time, baby. We rapping. We got the music videos popping.
We live in Miami, Coach.
Exactly.
There are two coaches. There's a couple coaches in the NFL right now that could get canned, and one of them is Mike McDaniel. But I got a soft spot for the guy. I've been saying this. I think he's a good scheme dude. Mm-hmm. I think certainly he's failed to. I don't think it's. I think some of it. He doesn't get to pick all the groceries, right? That's not his job. I don't think the players have done a great job of setting the culture down there. That's also the coach's job. But I don't think the players have done a great job of setting the culture down there. You also know how I feel about the quarterback ceiling. And things in their build have just kind of fallen out of sync. And so I feel bad for the guy a little bit. Mm-hmm. And I'd like to think the players are going to play hard for him. I'd like to think the players in Miami might know what time it is, but we live in Miami. It's sunny and 85 out. Yeah. Let's have a great day. It's a lot different than coming to work in Nashville. Nothing against the bachelorette party capital of America, but being in Nashville and being 0-10 in fucking November.
And I hate to be this guy, but maybe Miami, maybe they do better. I don't want to say Tyreek was a distraction for the locker room, but if he potentially was, them not really have to pay attention to him or rely on him being on time or being at meetings or whatever it may be, that might be shifting that culture down there not the right way. Now that it's not there, maybe something changes, because sometimes when you're in locker rooms, guys are bigger than the program. As much as you don't want to say that or see that, you realize that when you're in the NFL that there are some players in some organizations when you get there that are quote unquote bigger than the program that can maybe walk in 3 minutes late and no one blink an eye or no one act like it's the end of the world.
And that can matter. That can bleed into the culture of the team.
And sure, like you said, because it can affect some of the other vets that maybe are coming from other places and they're seeing that and being like, hey, this just happened.
And I don't want to put the Ewing theory on a guy who just nearly lost his leg on Monday night, on national TV, but there is something to what you're saying, which is Tyreek's had a lot of BS follow him.
For sure.
And, there's also people that in the wake of that injury, I'm not a big guy on that's karma. Hey, if the stuff that they said he did off the field is true, it's fucking despicable.
Yeah.
Right? I got no patience for that. But if I think karma's exacted on a time scale we can't really comprehend. That's just my personal belief and the way things. So he'll get his if he's got karma coming to him, but that's not the way. I don't think that's the way the man upstairs works. He's
the whole situation from the time he got hurt to the end, just like the media and people catching videos of him, and then his reaction.
Yeah.
Like everything is just like, it's like, wow. But also a person that, like, when I tore my ACL, like it took about 7 to 8 hours for like the worst pain to really hit, because your adrenaline and all that stuff. So I don't know what was going on in his mind, but just the optics of everything from the moment he got hurt to after the video. Someone has the video of him in the ambulance and like he's just like smiling.
Well, dude, I think number one, he's that kind of guy.
Yeah.
Number two, like he's crazy.
For sure.
In the worst and best ways.
Yeah.
Like if you play with him, from what I hear, it's like he's crazy. Like the guy.
When we met him, he looked you up and down and
said,
was like, "I could take you."
Yeah.
He's just like,
yeah.
what?
Yeah.
While standing on something,
he was standing on a
still being shorter than you, standing on a platform, and looked you up and down and was like, "Yeah, I could take you."
Yeah.
Your brother told me you was big.
Yeah.
And your brother's big, and I was just like, "That's a funny thing."
But
to
if
say
you listen to
someone.
what people have to say about him, like and I said this the other day with Bo on the show, with like, if that's the last down of football he plays, and there's reason to believe it is, he played like he was 10 feet tall.
Yeah.
And, you know, if we're talking about the football player, other than him quitting on his team last year, I'm a big fan of the football player. Always have been. I told this story the other day. I remember in 2017 we go to Kansas City to play, and they had a couple young guys. They had Kareem Hunt, and I was like, damn, this motherfucker runs hard. And he's still there doing that for them. And then they also had this little guy who walked around like he was fucking the Big Show. Like he was the type of guy that just walked through a crowd of Eagles with his arms out. Like and when he got the ball, he was like Debo with the ball in his hands, and he was moving at 23 miles an hour. And I was like, who the fuck is this guy? He's always played with that big man attitude, and he was fun to watch. And so I think when he was leaving on the Gator, I think that was his way of saying like, hey, I'm thankful for the time I had on this field. I might not see it again. That was how I interpreted the Joker-esque behavior on the way out on the Gator.
Or it was just a way, honestly,
a coping mechanism.
It's a way to cope with pain. For some people, if you've never had a situation where you're in extreme pain in front of thousands and thousands of people, and maybe you don't want to cry, or maybe you don't want to show that like it's that much pain, and you're thinking about other stuff. Because I remember, like, as soon as I got hurt, I don't know why, all I was thinking was I didn't want the cart, because I didn't want my mom and dad watching on the game. Like, they just, like, when you get hurt, they just show you on that clip on the cart, and then it's like fade to black.
Yep.
You might get an update later and everything. And I was just like, I don't want my parents to go through that. I don't want my mom freaking out, being like, where is he? What are they doing with him?
Yeah.
Like, is he like that hurt? Like, when are they going to do the update?
You're saying Tyreek should just like army crawled off the field, dude.
Right? No, but it's just like, I just wonder, like, that maybe that was his coping mechanism, just being like, hey, like, I'm just going to smile and wave, because I don't know what else to do right now in this moment.
There was a funny meme, and it was like Tyreek after he gets his knee operated on. It was like 6 nurses with like pregnant bellies.
Yeah. It's 13. It was a real picture.
And of course,
that picture went viral like 2 months ago,
Yeah.
because they all worked together
and they were all pregnant.
Meme.
Yeah, well, there was another meme too that followed that one.
That one is crazy.
Anyways,
the internet is sick. Like, but it's actually like when you go online, it's one thing that you know for a fact. Any type of gruesome injury that they don't show on TV, as soon as you hit X, like, even if you don't want to see it or not,
you're gonna see it.
It's popping up on your timeline.
You're going to see it.
So that's one thing. But how quick some people are with memes and like jokes and stuff in real time, like, it's kind of crazy.
It is crazy.
It is crazy. And then even to crazier is just that people can make memes that quick, but the NFL, they can't bleep out someone saying the N-word and then fine you for it.
Dude,
like, there's a delay.
But we're talking about the delay. Yeah, we're talking about the delay. Like, that's a lot faster. By the way, it's a lot faster. It's like 3 seconds.
What?
If you can make a meme in 3 seconds, that'd be pretty impressive.
Oh, the delay's only 3 seconds?
How long did you think it was?
Remember when we called? It was like 6 to 7.
Where?
When we watched the national championship game,
Really?
he was calling people, being like, Tebow's about to score, and hang up. and then like 10 seconds
And we were
later,
down on the field. We were at
someone
the.
will call him back
yeah.
and be like, yo, like, don't do that.
Yeah, maybe it is 6-7 seconds, but to make a meme in 6 seconds, that'd be pretty impressive. Okay, the 4 p.m. window,
Not a lot of quantity, but a little bit of quality,
a little bit of quality.
highlighted by some Carolina Panther cast-off quarterbacks in Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield.
That's right. And what's so funny this week is like they asked Baker about like, do you guys ever reminisce about times in Carolina? He
Good
was
old
like,
days. He goes,
He was like, huh, no, we don't. And Panthers fans are starting to hate Baker. Because like first he did the thing with Steve Wilkes where he was like, well, Steve Wilkes fucking cut me. And then Steve Wilkes was like, yeah, I was an interim head coach. Like I really didn't have the authority. Otherwise, I wouldn't have cut our best player or traded our best player, Christian McCaffrey, which was kind of like the perfect response to that. And this week I've seen Panthers fans be like, yo, fuck this guy. Like, leave us alone. You were ass when you were here.
yeah.
The picture of him, he's literally playing scout
Yeah.
D9 in the picture with them too. So
Again, that should I know it's a different regime, but it should inform you on, you know, what you think the prospects of any quarterback playing in a program like this. You know, like any of them. There are 2 of them right here who I saw somebody talk about Sam Darnold like he should be in the MVP race this year. And, you know, like, and then Baker Mayfield's like a premier quarterback in the NFL. So, all right, Bucs, Hawks at Seahawks. I think what's interesting about this is the Hawks, you know, they got a home game off a mini bye, you know, so you figure they're going to be fresh. And the Bucs played in 100-degree heat on Sunday against a physical football team in the Eagles, right? The Bucs, they should probably look at, and Nolan brought this up, is like, go back and look at that Week 18 game against the Lions last year and everything that went wrong with the blitz and Sam Darnold. He has not been a great quarterback against the blitz this year. I think like bottom third of the league versus the blitz. So that's been the one bugaboo for him. You know, so you figure the Bucs are going to bring pressure. They've also done a really good job in the run game. Like I watched them, only 9 explosives on the year. 5 of them are quarterback runs. One of them you let Houston score evidently. They really have shut down outside zones. So Seattle's got to run to the teeth of this defense. The one thing I like, if Seattle could get the ball in the perimeter, it's actually a pretty good look for them. You know, Cooper Kupp and those guys, they try to block. The tight ends, they stick their hat in there. You know, they can get the ball in the perimeter with some success, but you're going to have to run the ball in the teeth of the defense, and that's what makes me nervous because this offensive line, you know, while it's improved from last year, they don't do a great job on the backers, at least from what I've seen. They don't get off the double teams and get to the second level. And the one thing is that Servassier Dennis cat, he's a bit of a knife in the run game. You know, like he's small, he's unorthodox. Sometimes he'll like wrong arm, wrong shoulder stuff, but he's slippery and he makes plays. And I know he's undersized, but you know, when you watch backers come downhill on this group, they do have a harder time getting off on the second level and playing in space. So, you know, I have seen Levante David, not to say he's lost 2 steps like a Roquan Smith, but I don't see him looking like the Levante David of old this year. So, you know, something to watch is these backers against this offensive line at the second level. You know, obviously you have to be smart. You have to stay home because the Seahawks can, you know, bite off big chunks with play action and kind of lull you to sleep and then take the shots. But the secondary's played well, I think, for Tampa Bay. They've got some young corners who have played really well. So JSN's the whole deal in the pass game. You got to take him away. And obviously for the Bucs, getting the offensive line a little bit healthier last week, getting Wirfs back. The left side looks like a little bit more stable. The right side still a pass rusher's dream. You know, and you're down Bucky Irving. The defensive line is one of the best defensive lines in the league for Seattle.
12 sacks.
It's kind of what we expected. And so playing this group, like, you have to have answers for this defense, and they're going to be looking for Reek Woolen. He's kind of the Waldo now, which is crazy to think because a couple years ago you were like, oh, he's going to be the next great Seahawk, the next great, you know, in a long line of big physical corners that they have, you know, cover 3 looking corners. But he hasn't looked like the player that they got out of the gate, and I don't know if it's mental. I don't know if it's a scheme fit thing, but pretty wild to think that he's maybe a little bit of the weak link.
Something else, something different to think about that I always do, and Seattle's one of those places, but with a struggling O-line for the Bucs, it's going to be loud.
Loud as fuck.
It's going to be loud, and if you're struggling with communications and checks, like that is not a stadium you want to be in if you don't have things together, because that's how you get those easy sacks and different type of plays on defense when that tackle is a step slow because you're not getting the right call, or the snap is not on time, or whatever it may be, because that stadium is probably, is it not the loudest, like usually?
I think it's the loudest. Yeah. I think it's that Arrowhead in New Orleans when it's loud.
Yeah.
I'm sure I'm forgetting someplace, but as far as I was concerned, and I played there once a year, it was so loud. Now the one thing, if you're the Bucs, you got this going for you. You started the season playing two pretty loud places, Atlanta in the opener, the Texans again on the road against that defense. In both those games, they had to conduct their 2-minute operation,
yep,
and they had to go win the game in 2 minutes. So, I think the Bucs are a well-coached football team. They did not play their best ball last week. Mm-hmm. It's going to be interesting to see how they look physically, because they were out on that grass a lot, and it was very hot. And the Hawks do have the rest advantage. I gave out Bucs plus 3.5.
That's
I think it's too many points.
And that's a long trip.
And Macon keeps holding up the picture of the two uniforms. I think this could be an absolute Bevel Conway lock. I mean, you'd be hard pressed to find a better looking game.
Ordinarily, when you have a great throwback and wear it, your opponent is not doing the same.
No, I know this is really cool.
The
Monday night.
This is really cool.
Monday night might be nice.
Monday night's going to be beautiful too.
Yeah, I low key, like, I was like looking at stuff. Obviously, we work, but I was like, damn. I was like, I would have liked to go
down there.
It would have been
fuck. I'll go swim in the pool,
bro. But just the fact that it's Monday night, like Jacksonville, it's gonna be like in the teams like the way it is now.
Yeah.
So everyone's gonna be excited.
No question.
Not to derail everything.
That place does have it. Sometimes it'll look empty as fuck, but then when it fills, bro, like it's crazy.
It's nice, and it's crazy. The only time I've really seen it filled, like one year, like I didn't play this week and I didn't travel, and they do the Georgia-Florida, the biggest cocktail bowl in the South in Jacksonville Stadium.
Yeah.
And bro, like when I was down there, we used to cover sections, so it just looks like that there aren't seats there. So like when it's full, but there's still a few thousand seats that are just covered. But you don't really, if you're not looking at it, you're just like, oh, that's how the stadium is.
Supposed to be seats.
Bro, the Georgia-Florida, like seeing the stadium full, it's just like.
I just remember, you remember the year they beat the Pats at home.
Jacksonville.
They beat the Pats at home, and it was raucous, man. Like, and on a Monday night, it's going to be pretty wild.
Duval.
Jaden Daniels is returning to the field and to his home, or parts close by. Washington is at the LA Chargers. The Chargers are favored by 2.5 points. No Joe Alt to go along with no Rashawn Slater.
No, this is an ugly deal for the Chargers. Sawyer, Johnson, Bozeman, Sorrell, and Pipkins. That is not what you thought you'd be rolling out this season. And I talked about it preseason, the Rashawn Slater injury kind of kept me from thinking this team would take the next step this year. I kind of went back on that because I was so impressed with the way they look early in the season without him. But then you lose Joe Alt, who's not going to be gone all season. But in a game like this, maybe the type of game on the surface, when you look at Washington, you're like, oh, they don't have a lot of elite pass rushers. Maybe a game where you think you can get away with it. But when you look at the numbers, like the Commanders' pass rush has been quietly productive. And they certainly manufacture some pressure and all that. But, they've got to beat the clock this week because the Commanders' secondary has not looked great. Safety play has been kind of ugly. They struggled to tackle last week. I think for a team like this, and I'm talking about the Chargers, who are down offensive linemen, and to this point in the season, it's kind of been confusing to me how little they've run the football. This has to be something you do.
Yep.
It has to be something you do this week. I know you're looking at the secondary and saying, "Hey, we can take some chunks off," but you've gotta give this guy some breathing room.
And to piggyback off what you're
in the
saying,
backfield.
And to piggyback off what you're saying, Omarion Hampton had only player with 120 plus yards from scrimmage and 1+ touchdown in each of the past 2 weeks. So if that isn't enough evidence that you should be running the ball.
Well, there's the big playability. I mean, you saw him break a long one last week against the Giants, and at different points in the game, I'm like, where is he? Like is it as simple as they thought they'd have two backs, and now with Harris down, they're just pacing this kid a little bit more. But it doesn't make a lot of sense when you look at their run-pass splits, especially considering who their offensive coordinator is. And it's funny the way this works. Like, if they'd have come out this year and just run the ball nonstop, everybody would have been like, hey, fuck, you've got one of the best quarterbacks on the planet, use him. But they've kind of OD'd on it. And now he's just being asked to do a little bit too much, especially behind this offensive line. Another thing is, like, when they're bottom 5 in run percentage, but top 5 in yards per attempt. So they can do it. Unfortunately, they're not an RPO team. I think they've only ran 9 on the season, and they're all ugly. Like, either they don't know how to run them, or they're not used to running them, or they didn't think they'd need to run them. But I think on early downs, if you're worried about the run game and teams are loading the box, or giving you looks where they're saying, hey, Justin's got to beat us, which I don't think they should. I think they'd be unwise to do that because of the matchups. You're going to get Lattimore on Johnson. I think you're going to get McConkey on Sanders still, who's a good player. But, like, I don't think those are matchups that you feel great about sitting there in cover one and loading the box with a single high safety. But if teams do that, you have to be able to get the ball out on the perimeter quick. And I think about the RPOs, and it's just not something that they do. So I'm not sure why. I don't know if it's a quarterback thing or a coordinator thing. But I think if you're looking at something that they can improve on over the next month of the season, I would throw in some wrinkles like that. And you got to run the fucking football. So I'm excited to see Jaden Daniels healthy. I feel like this young season, everybody's
healthy.
I don't know that he's 100%.
Oh, okay.
But I'm excited to see him face this test.
Yeah.
Because really all we've seen of him is the New York game where nobody's paying attention, and they win the ball game, and then in week 2 they play the Packers, who at that point in the season are playing like the Monstars, and they beat up on them. It just wasn't a good matchup. We knew that coming into the game. But now he's been hurt the next couple weeks, and meanwhile in Chicago, Caleb Williams is playing really well. And there's this who's the better quarterback. Not that it makes a shit, ultimately, because I think they both have their guy. But I'd like to see what Jaden Daniels looks like in year 2, and we haven't really gotten a full picture of that. Everybody's kind of waiting on his downfall, like he's going to regress. I think it's a big test for him. And the good news is the Chargers are not rushing the passer. Mm-hmm. With Khalil Mack down, there's not a lot of guys you're terrified of. Mm-hmm. So he should have time. The Chargers have to contend with a very multiple run game this week, in multiple looks, a lot of stress on the edge guys. We talked about that. And obviously the secondary as well against Jaden Daniels and his ability. There were some fucking Bo Nix throws that got away from him that could have changed that game.
Yeah.
So you look at the Chargers, they're looking at that tape and saying, okay, we got a guy with the arm talent to hit these shots. Let's see what's been giving them trouble.
Titans are in Arizona. Cam Ward last week became the 5th quarterback taken number 1 overall to start 0-4 straight up in the first 4 weeks of his rookie season. That would stand to reason. The other 4 are Trevor Lawrence, Peyton Manning, Drew Bledsoe, and Troy Aikman.
So we're in the fatality watch portion of the 4 p.m.s. In the Lions and Bengals game and the Titans and Cardinals game, these are 2 coaches whose seats they're smoldering. We could see the whole Zach Taylor tree come down because it's Zach Taylor and Callahan.
Yeah. Let me ask you something.
Yeah.
If you're in that locker room.
Which locker room?
If you're in the Titans locker room and you're a vet and your rookie quarterback gets up in the media and says, this team is ass, includes himself, says, I'm ass, D-line's ass, the O-line's ass, everyone's ass.
Smells in our facility.
It stinks in our facility.
Are they washing their ass?
I hope. But are you taking that as an insult or kind of or is that putting a battery in your back that you want to do better?
I don't think so, because I'm considering the source. They like the kid. They think the kid's really good, and the kid cares. And the kid's bothered by the fact that they are ass. You know, like, does it insult me? No. What insults me is being 0-4. Like, that's what should offend you.
Yeah.
You know, that's what's offensive to me, because that's no fun. You know, the QB saying that we're ass, that doesn't affect me, because we are ass right now.
Now, if you're the coach,
Yeah.
and you're on the hot seat,
Yeah, that's not a good thing.
and your quarterback gets up there and says, "We're all ass."
Okay, so what if every player and 70% of the players in the locker room, and I'm not saying this is the case because I didn't get the idea when I was there in Tennessee, but like, what if a bunch of players, and I've been in locker rooms like this where they're like, fire the guy already. You know, like,
Yeah.
in that case, the players are like, yeah, shout it from the mountaintops, brother. Like, whatever you got to say, put some extra English on it, because people need to understand just how ass we are. Now, I will say this. I think this is a spot where the Titans can win a game.
Me too.
I think this is a classic Titans find a way to win a game spot.
And the best question is going to be, the reporter that's going to say, do you think you guys are still ass after the win?
Yeah, no, that's going to be great. That's going to be great.
It's coming.
Maybe he should just mouth his answer. So
Fantastic.
But I think the Cardinals losing what now? DeMercado's their running back. They're down 2 running backs.
Hold on. Could be Michael Carter.
Could be Michael Carter.
Fantasy alert.
Could be Michael Carter. You know, the run game is so important to them. They've been. There's a lot of talk of like, hey, what's wrong with the run game in Arizona? That's something that they've got to be able to hang their hat on. The other thing that's concerning this week at Arizona is, you know, Kyler. I forget what the question was, but the quote was, and I'm paraphrasing, in relation to their practice facility, which will be open in 2027. Well, I hope I'm here to see it.
I can play it if you want.
Yeah, go ahead and play it. I want to hear how he said it.
What do you mean? What was my reaction? It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah. Hope Well, I don't know when it's coming out, but hope I'm here to see it.
Oh well, maybe if he didn't know when it was coming out.
Yep. That's why context matters.
Context does matter.
Yeah.
Context does matter. 2030? Wait, you mean you're not going to be here in 2030? Honestly, they're not talking about a practice facility opening in 20 years, man. They're talking over the next couple of years. Like, are you going to be here or are you not? You know, and while I got no problem with honesty sometimes, like sometimes it's good to lie. You know, it's like it's good to just be like, you know.
Hey, have you ever had to root for Kyler and the Cards in a Thursday night time machine battle royale? Boy, was it a tough watch.
Oh, yeah, but that was fun for me. It's just there was never a doubt, not even when the Cardinals got close. I just knew the Hawks were winning that game.
They got mighty close.
It was just a no-brainer for me. They should have gone for 2.
I know.
Like, no questions asked to
At home.
go for 2 in that situation.
You're the lesser team.
But yeah, and hey, listen, I remember being in St. Louis, and this is before the NFL fucked us and fucked St. Louis and Kroenke and the whole cabal. Am I allowed to say that, cabal? Yeah, it's just being used in a lot of weird ways right now. And I thought they were talking about building a stadium at the riverfront, like in like 20. I don't know. At this point, it was like 2020.
Yeah.
And I remember like answering a question. I was like, man, I hope I'm here to see it. Like, but that's okay for a defensive end to say. But when you got the keys to the franchise, and you know, like we're asking you to be confident, and we're asking you to exude, you know, confidence. Like, just fake it a little bit, man. Like, I don't think he's in. That answer tells me that he's probably not in a great headspace.
Yeah.
And he shouldn't be in a great headspace because he's not playing well.
Well, and he put the English on the word reaction. What's my reaction to it? So the question was probably, hey, man, there's a new practice facility.
Yeah.
Coming soon.
Soon.
What's your reaction? It's like, are you trying to say it on practice?
Yeah.
Are we talking Call of Duty?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that's interesting.
Are you asking me
that's
if I'm the
interesting.
guy?
That's interesting. Well, and here's the other thing. I saw an interesting quote this week from Todd Haley, who used to be connected to that organization, right? And he was like asked about Marvin Harrison Jr. and confidence, because that's the other thing is like, I think Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to be there a long time. I think he's going to see the new practice facility. There are guys on that roster who are 2027 practice facility enjoyers and guys that might not see it. Marvin Harrison Jr. is one of those guys that's going to see it, and I can remember when I was a young player and my first year and a half in the league, I've said this a bunch, like I didn't know what I was doing. I was in a defense I didn't love, like nothing against like Spags, but I'm in a 6 technique. I'm kind of feeling like I'm thinking too much. I'm overthinking things and my confidence is waning. And, I remember somebody came up to me in the locker room one day and was like, hey, don't get down. You're going to be here longer than anybody. Like, and it almost ended up being true. I was there for eight years, and I think for a guy like Marvin Harrison Jr., he's part of the solution. And I was so happy to see him make those plays in the second half, because I don't know, I've been there as a high draft pick, and a lot of people think it's super easy to be a high draft pick and super hard to be a guy coming out of nowhere. It is and it isn't, right? Like there's pros and cons to both situations. To be the guy coming out of nowhere, nobody really knows when you're failing except for you, right? But when you're Marvin Harrison Jr. and you drop a football, after you go for 900 yards in your rookie year, which is actually a pretty good thing, everybody's like, this guy's fucking ass, dude. He's terrible, because he's not his dad a year into his career. He's also a different player. Todd Haley said, I would feed him the ball. I would get him as many touches as possible. And to confidence, I would say this, like, if you drop a ball, I don't want you to give a fuck, because I know I'm coming right back to you. Yeah. I think some of the thing that can get in a player's head is like, if I fuck my chance up, I don't know when it's coming back to me. Yeah. Dude, you're a first round pick. The one good thing you got for you is you're gonna get more chances.
Yep.
And don't worry about that stuff. I need you to catch the ball in the critical situations, which he did last week. So as for guys that might not be there in 27 and guys on the roster who probably will, I have that to
28. say. Facilities completed in 28.
Yeah, 2028.
That's no man's land.
Yeah.
Kyler's off the hook with that answer.
Has there ever been 2 starting quarterbacks been traded during the season?
I don't know about that. What trade are you proposing?
Kyler for Bryce. Send Kyler to the Panthers and send Bryce to the Cardinals.
Dude, all right. So here's another one I was thinking about. How about the 2 players playing on the 1 p.m.? Send Tua up to send Tua. How about Tua to Carolina?
You like that?
Bryce to Miami, because I'm convinced Bryce would cook in a fucking McDaniel offense. And then obviously you're gonna have to throw Miami some draft capital.
Okay.
And maybe you get a pass rusher back, because they're probably going to be dumping assets here at some point. Because you do need some pass rush, although you drafted 2 defensive ends, rushers. I don't know. This is all fantasy land. Fantasy land.
By the way, I've consummated 2 fantasy trades this week. I don't know if you all noticed or not.
Oh, no, I don't. I'm not a pervert. I don't pay attention to fantasy
That's
football.
when you're paying attention in real time. The weekdays are for
roster
building.
Let me ask you something.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I know they're for roster building. My son Luke, who's 6 years old, every time I get home, he's on the iPad and not watching like Bluey or something. He's staring at his roster, dude. That's the only thing we let him do on the iPad is like look at his roster. So because of that, he makes a move every day. Yeah. Every day. He hasn't won a single game yet, and it's so sad. Well, he won the other night, and I was so happy for him. It was a Sunday night football game that I think put it over the edge for him. And, it's so funny watching my kids now. They're like stepbrothers, like 9 and 6. The other night they were struggling to like take off their school clothes. It was like 9 o'clock, and Waylon's been trying to dump Jamar Chase for like a week. And he's telling me how bad Jamar Chase is playing. I'm like, he is not playing bad, dude. He's getting Brownings throwing the fucking football. So he's trying to dump. He's in a league with like a bunch of kids that are younger too, and he's been sending them Jamar Chase, but trying to get like 5 players back, right? Would you take this trade, Jamar Chase for George Pickens? If you were
definitely not.
If you own Pickens,
no.
Right, that's what I said.
Wait. I want Chase. Not
you
Pickens.
Want Chase? Who's throwing the ball?
I don't care.
Yeah.
Does it not matter?
That's one game for George Pickens.
George Pickens is it right now.
Yeah, CD's back.
Greatest
Next
show
week.
on turf.
Yeah.
Next week, CD.
No.
But when is Joe Burrow back?
I'm the captain now. Like George Pickens is not giving up that 1A spot. CD Lamb is 1B now, and one.
No, they're not going to do that. No, but I do think there's something too, because that was the trade that they posed at 9:00 at night when they were supposed to be getting in bed, and I was just saying, like, go to bed, guys. He was like, all right, Luke, I'll give you Jamar Chase. And Luke walked over immediately. It was like, deal. And I was like, no, Luke, don't do it. But maybe he should have took the fucking trade, huh? That's what you're saying.
Chase. I like Chase.
Everyone loves Jamar Chase.
I love Jamar Chase, but who's throwing him the football right now?
Bad teams accrue yardage and score points too.
So far, not so.
True.
Very
But sometimes
true.
even.
But
more
as we
so.
talk about the Bengals,
They got to throw it.
as we talk, and I don't know shit about fantasy.
Well, former champion.
Former champion. As we talk about the Bengals, we're going to find out this weekend. Like, I don't think we've seen the bottom yet for the Bengals. This is the worst team. Like, the Lions, if the Lions were a person and you had like a broken leg and you were in the middle of the street, they just run you over. Like, I don't think there's any like, you know, like we're going to take our foot off the gas pedal, like, they are going to try to just murder these guys, dude.
The good thing for the Bengals is that the Lions have yet to stop an opposing team on their first possession from scoring the touchdown. So maybe the Bengals.
So if the Bengals can get out to a lead and control the game with the non-existent run game,
Routed to Jamar Chase, a bunch of confidence,
bro,
a bunch of confidence,
dude. Fucking, bro, dude. I can't. This
Bengals.
team is unreal.
Your Bengals.
This team is unreal. They're not my Bengals anymore.
Look on the grill. Look at you.
Well, look at me. I mean, I didn't think Joe Burrow was gonna be out for the fucking year.
That's your MVP.
And honestly, Joe Burrow, if he was healthy right now, I'd be feeling pretty fucking smart about the Bengals winning the North, would I not?
If ifs and ands were pots and pans, the world would be a kitchen.
Is that speaking of kitchen? You know, Macon doesn't have a kitchen. You know that?
No.
For the people listening to this show, oh, you don't know that.
No, wait.
So Macon
Most houses
demoed
have
his kitchen without a plan to renovate it.
That's not true.
They basically fired the head coach with no backup plan.
So what's the interim kitchen?
The interim kitchen is a George Foreman grill, brother.
It's a box. Like their walls,
Gray box.
ceiling, floor, but no appliances.
No appliances at all.
Do they have plastic up yet?
Oh yeah.
So you're hearing plastic at night.
Yeah.
It's kind of spooky.
Kids are tripping over the plastic, crying.
Yeah.
Great.
Fucking not good.
Great.
Dude. Speaking of, I was thinking about coming over to your house, but obviously I can't do that.
Yeah.
You should come over to my house.
Okay.
I've been playing pickleball.
Oh.
You should come play me in one game of pickleball.
Okay.
Got a kitchen. Got 2 kitchens in the pickleball court.
You won't remember this, but like a year ago, I told you would be good at pickleball, and you're like, I don't know, and I was like, no, dude,
It's
be
hard.
good.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna pop my Achilles doing it, but it's kind of fun.
Can I say something?
What?
As a former tennis player, person who really cared about
Poor man's
sport.
tennis.
Well, that goes without saying. But I tried it once, and I was so excellent that I never want to play again.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Bro, I'm not.
Come over.
I don't doubt it.
Come over. Have a meal.
I don't doubt it. I think it's a huge advantage if
you've already played tennis.
Yeah, if you're like halfway decent.
But did you see him rush the field?
No.
He said he's still sore.
I feel like I've
Rushing
seen
the field.
people that like that I went to high school with that maybe like were like mediocre at tennis and like they post videos of like playing pickleball.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, oh
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
We played against people that were supposedly
I beat the
sweet.
shit out of my son 5-0
Okay.
the other day.
Okay.
All right.
You use the term pickle point. when it's game points, pickle point.
Oh,
That's my favorite part about the whole sport.
wow.
All right, so we'll see with the Lions, man. You talk about the Bengals
Pause.
interior defensive line. This is an interesting statistic. This is from Bengals Wire. 0 interior defensive linemen in the top 60 of pass rush win rate. This is not a good thing because the Lions interior offensive line is playing better. Ratledge is playing really well. I mean, Ratledge looks really good. They're improving inside. I thought this was interesting. Jeremy Fowler said that the Bengals should call Derek Carr.
Sure.
Call somebody,
Call
dude.
any host.
Just
people.
pick up the fucking phone or get rid of the coach. One of the two.
Derek Carr?
Somebody, dude. Anybody.
I thought it's Jameis. You ain't seen the meme? You see what's gonna happen to the world if they just find a way to get Jameis Winston? Everything's gonna be better.
I didn't see the meme.
It's a meme. It's like if the Bengals pick up Jameis Winston, it's like a fantasy world. It's like everything's going right.
Yeah.
Everything's gonna be like
Yeah.
Giants holding out for 2 firsts for quarterback Jameis Winston.
Jesus Christ. I got an interesting trade for the Titans. They should call Howie Roseman for A.J. Brown.
I love it.
Hey,
You up?
back.
Hey, big head.
Give him. Hey, send him back.
No.
I get
He's
the-
fine. Everything's fine.
Is it?
No.
No.
I don't
it's
know
not.
that everything's fine.
You know what he should do?
What?
He should bring inner excellence back out to the bench. That's when everything.
Bring the book out.
That's when everything changed. Bring the book back out.
second fewest yards of average separation.
He should give
Yeah, he's
Kevin
not getting open.
Patullo a copy of Inner Excellence, but inside of it is like a playbook with different routes that you could actually use to get him open, because he's making it look like the hardest fucking thing in the world. And then finally, Sunday Night Football.
The Pats and the Bills.
Ain't all day for Sunday night.
Bills are going to be wearing the cold fronts.
All right.
Yeah, who cares?
Well, except for that Arizona looked sweet in their little desert storm.
I thought they looked sweet too, and then
Yeah.
people were talking me down, saying it looked like they were,
Diarrhea.
the speckle.
They looked way better from a
Like
distance.
the
Are
Yeah.
we
The end zones were dope.
getting old? Because I thought they looked sweet.
I thought they looked kind of cool.
I didn't like it. The mud splatter.
But it's kind of a young man thing to like the new unis. So
Right.
I don't
I think
know.
that makes y'all young.
Okay.
Yeah, we're
I think
kind of.
Gen Z likes those.
But no, it's similar to. It's funny that you like it, but it's similar to what you don't like about the Golden Goose. It's the new. It's clean, but
Yeah.
it looks dirty.
Yeah, clean, but it looks dirty.
It looks dirty.
Yeah.
And there's a market for that, but it's just like that's what it just looks like it's dirty, but it's not.
The market is middle-aged white women.
And they probably sold out those jerseys for it.
Yeah, I don't know. I was talking
Arizona?
about the golden geese.
Oh, the Golden Goose.
But yeah, no, those are fine. It's a white uniform.
Yeah, I think they're kind of bad.
They're fine.
They're okay.
They're fine.
They're bad at it.
Give me a fucking red helmet, please.
Week 18, buddy.
Give me a Frank Reich get up. You know what I'm saying?
Week
Frozen.
18.
Why are we
We're gonna
waiting
get 'em.
until week
I know.
18?
Looks like Frozone plays for them.
Yeah, looks like
Where's my super suit?
You know what they should have up in the jumbotron? Is,
Elsa.
No,
Ooh.
scene from the movie Batman, where Arnold Schwarzenegger says, "Let's kick ice." That should be on every third down. Oh, I would definitely request that if I was
With
Greg Rousseau.
With the way political times are, you probably can't use that.
Yeah, that was
Really?
I thought
Yeah.
of too.
Oh,
Oh,
I say still go for it.
yeah. I mean,
Double
fine.
down.
Yeah, let's kick ice.
Drake Maye leads the NFL in completion percentage. That's 74%.
Dude, he's playing pretty well, but the thing I like about them is they really do keep him on schedule. Josh is trying to keep him on schedule. You just kind of see the way they call games. It's early downs. They're going to throw on first down a good bit. They're gonna make the quick game, their run game. I don't think their run game looks The run game isn't consistently great, but they got some good backs. They have gotten some mileage out of them. I think you're watching a quarterback grow up before our very eyes a little bit. I don't want to get out over my skis because of what happened last week. But we did say a couple weeks ago, like, between the 1 yard lines, they played pretty fucking well against the Steelers. They just couldn't hold on to the football. And last week was a good chance for them to kind of get into a groove, because this is going to be a big one. They're going to have to score points in this game. It's a good opportunity for the Bills to go 3-0 early in the season in division. I mean, that'd be a big one for them. I don't think anybody doubted that the Bills were going to win this division, but this Sunday night game is going to tell you if they're going to have any trouble. I mean, the Pats probably can't catch them. I just can't imagine the Pats having a record outside division to be able to keep up with the Bills. But this is going to be a fun deal. Like, if Drake Maye, if we're to believe he's a top 10 quarterback or he's ascending, like, you're going to be looking at Mike Vrabel and Drake Maye and McDermott and Josh Allen for a very long time in this division. And that's a lot of fun. Like, this is something that we're going to be watching for years to come. You also get the return of Diggs. And I think it comes down to third down for the Bills, man. May's been tearing it up on third down. I couldn't even believe these numbers. Of all quarterbacks active this season right now, he's number one on third down, 120.5 passer rating. The guy who had a better passer rating is our sweet prince, Joe Burrow. The Bills are not really great on third down, so that's going to be like where I watch this game is going to be, can the Bills get off the field? I do think it's an over. I gave out the over. I don't think the Bills' offense has been tested yet, plain and simple, but this front's pretty good. Now, the Bills have a good offensive line. We talked to Deion Dawkins on the show this week. They got a bunch of studs up front. Division games can be sketchy, so those interior defensive linemen, Barmore is a fucking stud. Milton Williams, who popped up on the injury report this week, is a stud. You get Gonzalez back. It's amazing what having a number one corner can do. And now they have him and Carlton Davis outside. Ellis was back on the field last week. I'm pretty sure that bump in the road after Pittsburgh got him right. I think Vrabel's the type of guy, when he closes the doors after a game like that, when the doors open back up, the team's got their fucking mind right. And this is going to be a big opportunity for them. The one thing for me is, did Hawkins, their safety, show up on the injury report?
He's limited with a hammy.
Yeah, it's something to keep an eye on. I mean, like we talked about the backers, and Josh, 44 of 53 for 469 and 116 rating between the numbers. They have just cooked in that area of the field.
Let them cook.
Pull up the Bills' schedule, and they were down 15 in the fourth quarter of the first game of the season, and I by no means think
that's when the Ravens were good.
I don't think that they're God's gift to football historically here at this club, but I would like for the good folks at BetMGM to book a 17-0 bet.
Ooh, a ticket. Let's see.
Because I think it's in the offing.
Do you think so?
What do you give me, fellas?
10-1.
Oh, I think longer shot than that.
20-1.
But I think and I think it's
25-1. Stop me.
Sold. You can book it. I'll book it with you.
I'm not going to do it.
It's going to be over. It's going to be over this weekend.
You think the Pats beat the Bills?
Well, here we go. If the Pats go in there and they run the ball, the Bills' defense has the second worst rush defense. So the Pats go in there, establish a run with the way Drake Maye is playing. I feel like they can go in here. They can sneak this game.
Listen, I mean, obviously,
this is a lookover game. I feel like
if ifs and ands were pots and pans,
the world
we'd all have a kitchen.
That's right.
So I just. Yeah, when you look at the schedule, take it week by week. You got the Pats this weekend. You go down to Atlanta. You got the Panthers in Carolina. You host the Chiefs, which you almost don't want to win that game, because then you're going to see them again. That whole it's hard to sweep a team. Bills, Dolphins, Bucs at Bills. That's a tough one. If it were in Tampa, I'd say, hey, man, that'd be a tough one. They got to go to play the Texans. The Texans gave them hell last year. As bad as the Texans were, the Texans gave them hell last year in Houston. Josh had a concussion. Trubisky came into the game.
Yep. Last year, the Texans beat the Bills at home in Week 5.
That's right. That was off their Baltimore loss. That was the little hiccup for them before they went out and got Amari Cooper. You've got the Steelers on the road. You got the Bengals at home. You're going to see the Pats. You're at the Browns. You got the Eagles at home December 28th. Man, Here's what could be in the way. An Aaron Glenn team trying to win a fucking ball game and play themselves out of a draft pick.
Like another New York team did to another
That's right.
Well, what
New
happens?
England team.
What happens week 17 if Philly's the same 16-0?
I don't want anybody to like kill me or call me names, but I don't think the Eagles are going 17-0.
That's hate.
I'm not hating on the Eagles,
No.
dude. But it's legitimately where we
The Eagles
are.
have a Packers-Lions stretch here.
Eagles fans right now are like, I fucking hate this team. This team sucks. But then when anybody says anything that's like, man, they could play a little bit better, they're like, I will kill you with a bullet. I will find you and I will kill you.
Yeah,
What
like,
did you say about the Eagles?
I could
Stuff
talk
like
shit about my team. You can't talk shit about my team.
Yeah, exactly. That's crazy.
That's how
But
it
we're
is.
not even talking shit. I just said that,
It's
that
like-
they probably don't go 17.
It's like the family thing. It's like, yo, like you could talk shit about your brother, but other people can't talk shit about your brother.
Yeah,
around
that's
you.
true. That's true.
It's like
But
that.
he won a Super Bowl for the Eagles.
Except Dave from Delco is not related to Cooper DeJean. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yeah, 17-0 is fucking hard. That's the reason why teams don't do it. But that's an interesting thought. People have been lamenting how easy the Bills' schedule is.